Hi everyone, it's Phil here from Ashland Leather, and I'm really excited to show you a preview of tomorrow's private stock drop. And we're featuring some tumbled leather. One is tumbled natural shell cordovan, which you can see in my hand here, as well as some tumbled natural Chromexcel that we'll look at in a moment. All of these will be available on our website, ashlandleather.com, under the private stock page at 12 p.m. Central Time. And just so there's no confusion, tomorrow is August 16th. All right, let's take a look at this tumbled natural shell cordovan fat Herbie. This is a remarkable piece. And take a look at the texture that has come out of the shell as it was tumbled by Horween. The tumbling pattern that develops on shell cordovan is very unique, much different than most tumbled and pebbled leathers because it doesn't delaminate and sort of get this more coarse pebble pattern. It tends to develop these random sort of ripples that I'm not really certain how that has happened. There's no delamination happening on the shell as opposed to on the Chromexcel, which you can see here is a much different pebble pattern. All of the fat Herbies in the tumbled natural are a little bit different. So tomorrow when you see this up on the page, there'll actually be a drop down and you'll be able to select different fat Herbies in the tumbled natural shell, and any of the wallets that we're making in tumbled natural that are unique, I'm going to put up as a special drop down item and number each of them to make sure you get exactly what you're expecting. Let's take a look at the interior of this tumbled natural shell cordovan fat Herbie. All of these have that cream color stitching, which is a good complement to the natural color. On the inside, these are also tumbled natural shells, a little bit more of a subtle contrast on the interior of this wallet, and we were able to cut in a nice Horween shell cordovan ink stamp into the center. Let's move into the little brother of the fat Herbie. This is the Tony the Ant style, a little bit smaller than the fat Herbie with the same exterior bill compartment. This is a little bit smaller. US dollars will fit nicely inside of here, and we get to see this incredible texture of that tumbled natural. You can see on the exterior left here, it's a little bit more dramatic, and on the right, it gets a little bit more subtle. On the very far right, on the interior, let's take a look here. More tumbled natural shell cordovan, a really great look, and shrinking down in size. This is similar to the Tony the Ant we just looked at, but without a bill slot on the back. This is our Moran wallet, also in the tumbled natural shell cordovan. Should also mention, most of the tumbled natural shells that we've been receiving recently are a little bit darker than what we have experienced in the past. Some of them, like even on this Capone and the Johnny the Fox that we'll look at in just a second, those are almost more like whiskey shell cordovan, much darker than even this piece here. But man, that's a really great look. I love the texture and feel and look of this leather. On the interior, more tumbled natural shell cordovan. And similar to the Moran we just looked at, this is our vertical card slot version of the Moran. We have two card slots on the left with a hidden card slot underneath, and the same setup on the right side. Take a look at the exterior here. More of that tumbled natural shell. And I'm going to spin this around because this color does have a dramatic shift to it. It will get lighter at some angles and darker at other angles. All of these wallets are also hand waxed and burnished for the edges, which almost makes it look like a nice finished piece of wood. Continuing on here, I was mentioning this was a little bit darker. This is our Capone money clip, also in the tumbled natural. This particular Capone and the other Capone that we have available are a little bit darker, like I said, almost more similar to the whiskey shell, but as I look at it at this angle, it kind of looks the same as the natural shells we're just looking at. A little bit lighter at this angle and much darker at this angle. Again, that's the color shift in the tumbled shell cordovan. And especially on the tumbled shells, this leather is really opened up as the tannery has tumbled it around in these wooden drums. It sort of opens up the fibers of that shell, and it almost has more of a suede feel. And in addition to that suede feel that you get from a tumbled shell, it also opens up the fibers to allow a little bit more of a dramatic patina. So for me, the tumbled natural shell cordovan and the raw natural shell cordovan are as good as any leather will get for patina. These tumbled natural shells will develop to become much darker, more golden brown, and the luster does start off a little bit with a mild sheen here. But as you wear this, it will get very bright and shiny and very glassy. So this Johnny the Fox here, our most popular wallet style, tumbled natural shell on the exterior. It's a little bit more of a subtle texture on this particular piece. On the interior, we've decided to pair up those tumbled natural shells with some reverse interiors, and I love the way that reverse interiors wear in for all of our wallets. One more wallet to look at in the tumbled natural shell cordovan. This is the Frank the Enforcer, and I'm looking at the card holders here as all those colors are a little bit different at that angle, but as I spin this around, the colors almost invert And again, that's the color shift we were talking about. This bottom piece for the front card holder is a really great look of tumbled natural shell cordovan here. I really like how that one's appearing. Let's take a look at the back where we have one card holder with a thumb notch, and as well, the middle piece here, this is a larger slot that is designed for US dollars folded in half. And the very last tumbled natural shell cordovan piece for our private stock order today, this is tumbled natural on a key fob. We made a couple key fobs in the tumbled natural shell. They all have a little bit more of a subtle look in terms of the tumbling texture and pattern, but we thought it'd be a good opportunity for people to check this one out in person with the key fob. Let's move into the tumbled Chromexcel, and I'm really hyped on how they look, especially the Fat Herbie here, because we get this extra large pattern piece that allows us to see more of the context of the pebble texture that's happened here. Very interesting pebble look on the natural Chromexcel. It's almost more of like a coarse pebble grain than most tumbled leathers, and I think that's because of the Chromexcel tannage itself. But looking at the color here, it's a really nice neutral color. This is natural Chromexcel, again, that has been tumbled, and some angles a little bit more golden looking almost, but all the undertones of natural Chromexcel have this really nice neutral sort of taupe color. Now let's take a look at the interior of this wallet where we have more tumbled natural Chromexcel. And just as we finished the edges on the shell cordovan pieces, these also have hand waxed and burnished edges. And continuing on down the sizing, this is the Tony the Ant, also in tumbled natural Chromexcel. You can see the size difference here. Tony the Ant came about because people wanted a little bit more of a small form factor with the same aesthetics as the Fat Herbie. So we have the exterior bill slot on this one. And on the interior of the Tony the Ant, we have 4 card holders, 2 on the left and 2 on the right. The larger 2 card slots on the bottom here, these will also fit US dollars folded in half. And shrinking down a little bit more in size, this is our Bugs Moran, also in the natural Chromexcel. You can see there is some variation of the texture between each of these pieces. And even in this same piece of leather, on the left side here, it's a little bit more of this dramatic pebbled look. And on the right side, you do see some pebbling, but it's a little bit more subtle on the right. On the interior, we still have those same 4 card holders, the same as the Tony the Ant we just looked at. And here's our variant on the Bugs Moran with the vertical card slots on the interior. This one's a little bit thicker than the shell cordovan one, I just noticed from my hand here. But this will fit at least 2 or 3 cards in each slot, and you can probably fit more in these larger hidden card slots underneath. Let's take a look at the tumbled Chromexcel on this one. A little bit more subtle on this particular piece than something like that Fat Herbie we looked at, but it's very nice. The other thing about tumbling the Chromexcel, in the same way that the shell cordovan was tumbled, as this has been opened up, it will accept a little bit more patina. I expect these to develop much more dramatic patina than the standard Chromexcel. So next up here is our Capone money clip, also tumbled natural Chromexcel. And it's a really great look on the tumble pattern. Each of these are absolutely unique. Take a look at the inside here, and I was just feeling this. The left side here, very tumbled, and on the right side, it's a little bit more smooth. All of the Capones, including the cordovan ones we looked at a minute ago, all have black hardware for the money clip. And we also have a Frank the Enforcer in the tumbled natural Chromexcel. For these pieces, we had to pick a little bit of the thinner pieces of the tumbled Chromexcel, and we picked thinner pieces for the Frank the Enforcer because of all these layers stacked on top of each other. If we pick thicker leathers, the wall is just way too thick. So this one's just the perfect thickness that you can see here. The tumble pattern on this particular Frank is a little bit more subtle also. Here's a look at the back side with 1 card slot and a thumb notch. And here's the last tumbled natural Chromexcel piece that we're gonna look at. One-shot card case. I love the one-shots to be able to let people experience these leathers for themselves. This is a really great front pocket minimalist wallet. A lot of people have been picking up the one-shot card cases recently. Take a look at the pattern on this one. That is a really cool piece of tumbled Chromexcel. Really love the look and the feel of the tumbled Chromexcel. So one-shot card case going up. All these will be up and available, like I said, on the website tomorrow, August 17th at 12 p.m. noon Central Time. So that's 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to go back to this guy here. This one absolutely blew me away. Really remarkable piece of shell cordovan here, and I don't think you're ever going to see another one exactly like this. But it also creates a little bit of a challenge for us here at Ashland. It's hard for us to make this thing twice, so I'm gonna have to put up a unique identifier for each of the tumbled shell cordovan pieces that are very different, and you'll find those again. There'll be a drop-down menu on the product page. You'll say Fat Herbie on the top. You'll be able to choose 1 through 5 for all the different looks for the tumbled shell cordovan that we have. If you have any questions about any of these, definitely let me know. Thanks for checking out the video today, and we'll see you tomorrow with this private stock drop.